that far. People want to stop thinking. So, okay, I gotten 2 yeses. Okay, so you want the foot massage. So I give you the foot massage, and I can either drill down into that. And is there any particular area that you would like? Would you like the toes or the arch or just the ankles? And then you could pick that. Or I could just give you the massage, and then after 10 minutes, I could run you another menu. Would you like another 10 minutes? Or would you like some more foot rubbing, or would you like to tell me a little bit about your day, or would you like to have something to eat? So, so you starting to get the picture of the small offers.
Yeah, it goes on. It kind of goes on, and I feel like when you're talking to me about, I guess, as I'm becoming aware of this, and you're talking about menus, it feels like I'm being led into some options that are designed by you. They're all, I feel, benefited by anything you're offering me, and I'm inclined to keep saying yes to where you're leading me, because I feel, in the question of what's in it for me, I feel like I'm being cared for.
Okay, good.
And I also feel like I'm being cared about.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Both. Like, I feel like you're caring for me, and I feel cared about, like you're asking me questions of things I might want. And obviously you've given some thought to this. So that feels actually good to me as the receiver.
Uh-huh. Right. And because, you see, attention is the greatest turn-on of all.
Yeah.
And what I've demonstrated to you is my attention is not on me. It's on you. I'm really focused on you.
So this is brilliant. This is so brilliant. This is brilliant because it's giving men a how to navigate what could be chaotic, and often is so direct when they're just like trying to hit on I want to, you're so sexy, I just want to be with you. I can see there's a whole art to this. I mean, there's just it's slowing everything down. It's taking time, and it is really showing attention in a way that's so comforting.
First of all, it's good to remember that women want attention 24 hours a day. So
Right.
You can never go wrong giving a woman attention. I mean, whether you meet her in a bar or at a workshop or if she's a friend of a friend, a woman is going to want your attention. So the minute a man starts giving a woman attention, it will turn her on. But he has to give her the right kind of attention. Too much attention, too fast, and it'll scare her. So part of erotic vigilance, which is the second key, is right-sizing the offer. So it's just enough to really have her say yes, but a woman doesn't want to get overly committed, and it's kind of fun to be led along, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not, well, for me, I mean, I'm a high achiever and definitely directive in my life. So when someone is leading me along and I can relax a little bit about making the decisions and having to choose and run everything, it's really wonderful.
Oh, how
it's
many
very
women,
great.
Yeah, would agree with that.
Yeah, this kind of seduction leads to a kind of relaxing, I think.
It does. Now, and I want to just tie it back to you talked about the old movies,
Yeah.
And what,
I thought of the other actor, Douglas Fairbanks.
Oh.
He used to be a swashbuckler, but he also was somebody who was very, very gorgeous. And even probably in some silent movies was very seductive. That's what I was thinking before when Douglas Fairbanks Jr.
Interesting. Well, I think we all have fantasies of being put at effect, okay? In other words, where someone just totally takes control. Because we're all very busy, and we're all in our heads really too much. That's it. We're thinking, we're planning, we're judging, we're evaluating. And so someone who's erotically vigilant is someone who's, let's just say it's a man right now, it can be either gender. Someone who's saying, I'm smart, I want to get her goals, which possibly include sensuality, to match my goal, which is definitely a hot makeout. And so I'm going to take the lead, and I'm going to put her at effect, and I'm going to put my attention on her, and I'm going to make her the kinds of offers that enable her to surrender. I'm going to give her things to surrender into. I'm going to make it really easy and interesting for her to say yes. And to do that, I'm going to notice her. I'm going to notice her face. Is she tired? Is she waking up? Did she do something out of the way? And I'm going to put that attention on her. What happens is the woman, when she feels that this man is taking pleasurable control of the situation, which is what you see in all of those very hot romantic movies, is the man sweeps her off her feet, right?
Yes.
She's out of control. She's into total surrender, but there's a trust there too. That she's surrendering into good arms, into someone that's really going to look out for her and bring her happiness. And as this happens, guess what else is happening?
I don't know. I'm just picturing Gone with the Wind, so I don't know what else is happening.
As this happens, she's getting turned on.
Yes.
She's actually starting as her mind drops, as this man or erotic vigilant person, we're saying it's man for now, is putting her to effect, is taking control, she is warming up to him. She's like thinking, wow, I feel met, I feel heard, I was frazzled, I'm not and it only took 5 minutes or 10 minutes or a half an hour or whatever, but I think people can do more harm than good if they extend the chaos, but I think you can take down the chaos and turn the whole mood into one where the energy is climbing. And that's what the erotic vigilant is doing. He's feeling her, he's feeling himself. Is the energy going up? So he's noticing all of this, and that's how he is knowing the kinds of offers to make. But she's getting turned on, and she's turning him on. So the energy is just getting warmer and warmer and warmer and hotter.
I think what you're saying here, and I want to also have you define this being at the effect. But I think what you're saying here is that as a woman is being paid attention to in a very careful way, that's the biggest turn on. I mean, you did say it. A woman getting attention as much as possible in a careful and caring way is the biggest turn on, and that will have her open and surrender and be available for whatever the plan is.
Well, let's put it this way. We women, you're a woman, I'm a woman, we want a lover who will do just that, who will know when to go easy and slow and when we want it hard and fast and know the difference. And when we sense that kind of attentive caring, there's this light bulb in our mind, in our bodies that goes off and says, this could be a lot of fun with this guy. I could dance with this guy. He's going to take care of me. He's going to make it good for me. You just sort of start to realize that what you see is what you're going to get. You're going to keep getting it because and so this man who is doing these, or a person who's doing these very, very simple things is starting to look very sexy to you.
This is what you mean by being put at effect. Like he's doing these things and I'm at the effect of it, or you're at the effect of it.
Right, exactly.
Because it's interesting terminology. It's very, it's just interesting terminology. It's transformational terminology, actually, to be saying that, to be at the effect of. And usually, I would say in my life, I don't want to be at the effect of people's whims. I don't want to be at the effect of their attitudes. I don't want to be at the effect of their moods. And now you're redefining it. You're turning it on and turning me on with the idea, I'd like to be at the effect of somebody paying that kind of attention to me.
Those are excellent points. I don't think anyone wants to be at the short end of some idiot stick, which is probably how a lot of women feel half the time, right? And which is why they're not turned on. So, but to surrender into something, to surrender to ourselves, to surrender to our life force energy, to our turn on, to our pure desire. That's really what I'm talking about. And I think to be able to surrender is an extremely great privilege. And it has to be with the right person, someone that you trust enough to hold the space for you while you go in. You surrender to yourself and you surrender to the man. But I think at the deepest level, as a woman who's really in a sexual situation, you're surrendering to your really deep primal desires, your spiritual calling, your bodily hunger. You're surrendering to yourself, but you need someone there who can hold the container for your surrendering to go into. So you're not just falling to pieces without boundary. That he's there to hold you. He's like that little rope that you're tethered to while you go flying out through the galaxies. And he's that thing, that rope that's tethering you. And so you're at effect because the more skilled he is at doing that, the further out you go into that deep surrender. So
that's fabulous. I mean, as you were speaking, I was thinking, just as you were speaking, I was thinking, yes, I'm surrendering to my own desire. And then you said, and you're surrendering to your deepest desires and hunger. And then what came next to my mind was, well, he has to be skilled. And then you said, and he has to be skilled. It's nothing like being on the same page, you know. You just described it so perfectly that it was, you know, I was there. Like if enrollment really is taking someone there, taking them to the vision, the picture that you have, you just painted the picture for me. It was all in my mind, and you spoke it.
Great, and I got you to not only want to go there, but to go there.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, let's go to this vulnerability piece. You know, what is it? This is, if a man is skilled enough, a woman will show her vulnerability, and isn't a man being somewhat vulnerable by risking all this? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I was going to say, when I talk about the vulnerability, it's the third key in my Seduction trilogy. So I use it in a very specific context.
Okay.
And if you'll recall, I said that things should come in pretty limited sized chunks.
Yes.
And you can always sign up for another 10 or 15 minute segment or whatever, but it's easier to say yes to a smaller sized chunk than to a large chunk. So if you say, let's do an hour of processing, that's not as easy to say yes to as, you know, let's take 10 minutes and do some processing and let me find some stuff out and or 15 and we'll see how that goes and if we need more. So most people would find that's an easier thing to say yes to. So the vulnerability that I teach, first of all, I just want to say about vulnerability, it's part of my Seduction trilogy is really in three parts. This is part of my advance. So you can really do a great job of seduction just with erotic vigilance and small offers. But I think to really get a woman turned on and to start to play her at your maximum capacity as a seducer, you light a match under a woman when you get the emotional juices going. And so you want to always have that as an option. Sometimes there's emotional stuff in the space that can be quickly diffused, and sometimes there's stuff that actually is going to take a while. So pretty much what I teach are some methods of going in there and asking questions with a very specific format that just bring in an emotional dimension. And you can process with them, or you can just use them as, you know, in a bar if you're just meeting someone for the first time. So let's go back to our example of you came over to my house and you were looking tired. You know, you come from New York, I'm in San Francisco, so, you know, I might say, are you feeling tired because you've had such a long trip? Or is it more that you're feeling frustrated because your plane was delayed and this has really affected your itinerary for the day? And then you might tell me, well, I'm really neither of those two. I'm really sad because before I left, I realized I wasn't able to do something that I wanted to do, and it's been on my mind, and so on and so forth. So now, okay, we've had some we've had some emotional communication